So hello everybody and welcome back to day 21 of 100 days of code. We're absolutely flying through this now. We're into we've already completed a fifth of the days, so we're on day 21 now, so that's great. We had a great day yesterday solving bugs, so if you're interested in bug fixing, check out that video. There was a lot of just me working through bug fixes and how I would logically try and approach and solve bugs, so very valuable I think for people that aren't too familiar with that process yet. So check out day 20 if you're interested in that, and thank you for joining me, Lilly Code. Let's just get into it. So lovely to see you guys again and be back on the attack. So let's go. So I'm just going to watch the video as always and get coding. So that's the plan. Same as always. Okay. Yeah, so we also learned yesterday, just while I'm listening to the video here and he's just chatting, we also yesterday used this create portal with the React DOM. So that was great. I really learned something new there. And what this create portal does is allows you to do things like overlays, so a spinner or a pop-up, and you want to extract that out to a different level of the DOM rather than having that overlay down in the middle of the DOM. So this is just to create a portal to move it somewhere else by an ID. So here's the IDs that we're attaching this to, which is outside of the root. So we learned all about that yesterday. I found that a very valuable day. So something new was learned and we're going to continue. So okay, great. So now we're using a new thing again. This is so exciting for me. You know, I'm here to learn React and I haven't seen this stuff yet, so this is great. So we're going to use a thing called useRef now, which I don't yet know what it does, but we will find out together, and that's exciting. So I'm going to just close off all of my other files here because this is all from yesterday and I don't want it to be a bit messy. So we just right click and then you get this menu in your Visual Studio Code, and you can go down to close others and just close off all the other files. So now we just have the file that we're looking at, and then we're going to import useRef from React. So it comes in here in these open parentheses, and in here we're going to say useRef. So that is cool. Let's see what this does. Okay, so useRef is a React hook, and like all React hooks, we can only use this within a functional component. So here is our functional component being declared. So just a function that declares the component that we're looking at right now. So in this case, it's the add user. Sorry, I have an itchy ankle. In this case, it's the add user. So yes, we can only use these hooks within a functional component. So inside here. And then we just call it, so useRef, and these are run as functions, just like the useState. So here we can see we call useState and we've passed it an initial starting value and we pass the parentheses. So useRef is similar. Okay. So as always, I just watch a little bit code and then I'll explain what I'm doing once I figure it out myself. So Okay, so you can connect any of your HTML elements to a reference, but it's commonly used with inputs. So that's how we're going to implement this here. And then you can literally just add a ref onto this input here. And yeah, you just add an extra ref like the key. So it's an inbuilt thing in React that you can use. So just like key, you can just add a key, which we don't need one, but you could have like key is equal to something, you know. Here we're going to use ref, and this is how you use it. Okay, yeah, so we just add the ref once we've declared it with use ref above, and then you can add it to your HTML components, which is just linking that ref that you've created, name input ref, to this particular component, and we'll do the same for the input. And just for make it a bit visually easier to see, I could just wrap. So, but let's not do that. So I'm just going to format this slightly differently, just so you guys can see what is going on. So there we go. And ref now. And this is going to be age input ref, because we created two of those use ref things. Age input ref, okay. All right. So now what Max has done is he's just logging out these refs just to see what's in them. So that'll be interesting because I have no idea what these are. So named. So I always just start with the name of the thing. Like this in quotes, input ref, it can be single or double quotes, it doesn't matter. And then you need a comma. And then I just give the name of the variable in order to send it out. I mean, that's not the exact right name, but it's fine because this is just my reference. So then this is the age, so that's literally just a string. So in my console I don't just get the value, so I can understand what it's linked to. So I'll show you this now. Perhaps that explanation wasn't amazing. So why is it edge again? Okay, so we do not want edge. I don't know why edge keeps on trolling me, so we'll just go to Brave. Right, edge, messing about. My dad used to always say to me, we don't accept messers in this family. So if we'd be crying or something as kids, he'd be like, we don't accept whingers in this family. We don't accept messers in this family. So it's just a running joke. So yeah, edge, off you go. No messers in this family. So then I'll just add in some data. So here we go. This is what I'm talking about. See here the way this particular string has just been printed out, which just makes it easier for you to identify your console log. Sometimes you can have a lot of them, so just give it a little string, something, and then sometimes if I have a lot of them and I'm really trying to debug something and I can't figure it out, I'll add these arrows as well, just to be like, this is the thing I need to look at in my console, because the console is very empty at the moment. But when you're working on big projects, you can have a load of stuff in there. So just a little tip, and then we will add our age. And you can also use like console.warning and console.table, and there's other console things that you can do. I should actually do a video on that because it's very useful when you're debugging. So I'm just going to take a very quick note, console, because these are very handy skills as a programmer. So named input ref, let's go in here now, and this is what's being printed out. So like this looks like current, so is it given the current state or something of that? And then it's the input with the ID of username. So I'll just see what Max says about this console log. Okay. Yes, so this is just all the things that are related to this. Wow, it gives you loads of information. So it's a form. Very good. The elements of the form. Very good. Oh, this is useful. Great. So like there's loads of things here. Obviously you're probably only going to use one or two of them is what I find myself doing. So if there's a value down here, V, then you know you find yourself using value a lot to access that value. So at the moment it's empty. Okay, let's just see how Max uses this. So then, yeah, the prototype contains the different things that you can do to this particular thing. So we could do a toString on this and convert it to a string, and then this is the current value, I think, and these are all the things that you can access in this ref thing. So there's loads. Seems very useful. So let's just keep watching and figure out what's going on. Okay, great. So this ref thing that we are using here, when we're saying use ref, a ref is always an object and it always has a current value. So this is the general format of a ref. It's always going to be an object, which is denoted by these curly brackets. That means this is an object, and then it always has this current property. So that's what a ref is, or you know, a bit of information about it. Okay, so what's being stored in this use ref is the actual DOM node. So it's the actual DOM node, this piece of the DOM. It's not a value, it's this part of the DOM. So, and then you can manipulate it and do things with it because we have access to it now. Okay, so yeah, we can actually get the current value as well. So now if I go down here to where I had my console logs here. So what we can do is if we duplicate this, and we can do named input ref dot current dot value, which is what I was telling you, value is one of the things that you would look at a lot. You know, you want to know the value of it. So we'll just change that. I'll copy this because now our console log is not really reflective of what it is we're logging out, and we should get the value that we've inputted into that box because that's what we've asked it to grab now. So if or console log out. So if I reload my page and stick in some values here, getting younger by the day. I'm joking. Okay, so then add user. There we go. So we've got back our value, which this is really useful because like you need your values, you know. You'll find yourself using the dot value a lot. And just to show you how we got this, because this took me so long to wrap my head around, I swear, was accessing things in like objects, arrays. It just took a while to understand what was going on there. So what we're doing is, right, we've got this named ref thing, we've console logged it out. So this is the object that we have. So the name of the object is the name input ref. So in order to access this value, right, we can follow it through now and see how I got it, but it took me so long to understand. I don't know why, but I remember just being like, I can't get the information. I can see it in the console, but I just couldn't get it. So yes, so here we have our named input ref, which is the name of the thing, right? And then we have this current property within the object. So to access that current property, you can see the name of it right there, right? So if we expand this out, current. So to access it, you just do a dot. You use the dot notation, and that will traverse into that current object. So now we have the current object back. So if I was to console log out just the current object, so you can see how it is we're going down and getting this, right? Because this is important, and this is how you get stuff out of an object when you've console logged it out, you know. Actually capturing that value and doing things with it took me a while to figure that out. So here we can see we have the top level, just the named input ref, right? And we've console logged that out, and we can see if we open this up that that has a current and prototype, which is just the different methods that you can run with this thing. So it tells you the things you can do with it. So it just has current in there, right? Really, sort of. So if we go into current, and then you could do dot and get use all these different things, right? So we're going to go all the way down to value. So by doing dot again, we access this value. So that's what's going on there. So if I just close this up, that's why we've gone dot on the object, then dot to get into the current, and then dot to get into the value. So each time you open up a level, it's a dot, basically. So here in our named input ref dot current, we can see that actually gives us back the actual DOM element. So there we go. And then named input dot current dot value is stored in the current, in the value, going down the chain, and we get back the actual value. So that's what's going on there, okay? Yeah, cool. Yeah, so now because we know we can access the value like this, we can actually just create a constant and save it, you know. So I'll get rid of all this, just my console log, and I want to keep pointing at the screen. I want to keep this named input ref.current.value because that's the value that we've put into the name box, right? So if I get rid of all this stuff here and then create a constant, you know, we can save it then and we can do something with this. So we assign it to a variable. So constant is equal, well, I need to give the constant a name. So this is going to be, say, stored name or name. And we don't need this bracket, we need a semicolon instead. So then I'm going to just duplicate this and do this for age as well. So this is the actual age value that we're going to enter into that box now. So there we go. And let's keep watching. Okay. Okay, so Max called them entered name, which makes sense. You can call it anything you want. Entered name. And then entered user age. So let's just do that so I don't start using the wrong variables down below and confusing myself. So entered user age. Okay. And we'll keep going. My hair is itchy. Okay, so now when we are adding the const, so now when we are adding these to the list to down here in order to save it in that object containing all of our entered user information, we can now pass that on the save. So here when we were doing props and then running the onadd user function, which is just saving that. Oh, no. Oh, whoa. Where is that coming from? Anyway, so here when we're doing props.onaddUser, this is the thing that's saving this information. So we're passing in the values that we want to save. So here we can pass in now the entered age and the entered name. So we can pass in these variables instead, or constants. So we will come down here and put that in there. And now because we're doing it this way, we can take out the use state. So it's a different way to do this. So we don't need to do this because we're not using the state to get our values anymore. We're using refs instead. So we can get rid of the states that we're tracking the entered username and the entered age, because we're doing it a different way now. So we'll get rid of them. And then we just need to come down and get rid of the code that was also using those things. Yeah. So now we can get rid of our set entered age and set entered username, because they were directly related to the use state, where we had the variable and the state, and that's how we were tracking it before, whereas now we're doing it with the use ref, which you can just go in and get the value of it. So we can get rid of these as well. And yeah, we're going to just have to still change some more stuff. And now we get rid of the value property and the onChange property. I really should have saved this before I start changing, just to have the two commits of the alternative approaches, but that's okay. We're going to just keep going. Okay. Max is so pretty. Okay, so what did he just say? Yeah, so I'll get rid of this. Entered username is not defined, line 19. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're going to have to get rid of this as well. Right, so for the time being, I'm going to just comment this out, because surely we still do want our error to be tracked and to pop up our message. But just because we don't have these particular variables anymore, entered age and entered username, because they were the things that we were using with our use state, we will comment this out because they no longer exist. And just see. Okay, so now we just reset them back to empty like this, but Max is saying that like this should only be used in specific cases, and that it's not good to directly manipulate the DOM. But in this case with the use ref it's okay, so I don't really know like in what case you shouldn't use this. So he did say if you are not comfortable with that, you can go back to the use state way, but I'm happy to just continue, but don't know, I'd have to do more research before using this use ref, because there's instances where you shouldn't just reset the DOM back to blank like this, but in this case it's okay. So anyway, he's just chatting away here, so Okay, so when we access values with a ref, like what we've done here when we're using the use ref, these are called uncontrolled components. That's what they're called. Yeah. So these inputs are now uncontrolled components. Oh right, yeah. So they're called that because we're not using React to do this here necessarily. What we're doing is we're going in and editing the DOM directly. So that's why they're called uncontrolled components, or I think that's what I said, yeah. Yeah, uncontrolled. Sorry, excuse me. Cool. Yes, I do like what I've seen so far. I think I've already left a review. It's just asked me to leave a review. So Max is still just chatting. Oh, I don't actually have it on 2x speed. Normally I listen to this very quickly, and oh, it's on 1.75. Okay. Sounds like he's just talking regular speed now, because I've got so used to it. Let's speed it up some more. Okay, so I'll watch these videos later. This particular one, it's just informational. This one is informational as well, so let's just skip on ahead and get back to the code. Okay, so now we're going to start another new project. This is great. He's covering loads. Max is deadly. So what I'll do is just commit where we're at the moment. So new terminal, and then I'll just do git status to make sure we have a git. We are tracking git here. So then I'll do git add everything. I think my file names might be too long now. Oh no, there we go, cool. And then I'll do git commit and pass in my message, and this message is going to be chapter 7 complete or something, or chapter 8 we're on. So what, that was 9. Stop. Brilliant. We are flying through the course. It's great. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so that was chapter 9 complete. So chapter 9, what is going on? Complete. I thought it was on 8 anyway. complete, and git push. Great. Cool. Okay. So now we're going to start the next part, which is awesome. So the next part is chapter 10 we are now on. So I'm going to just come back to my folder. I actually want my documents. I want sites. Then I have all of Max's stuff in here. Okay, I didn't put everything in. So now I'm going to bring over chapter 10. And we will get that from here. Chapter 10. Let's just rename this to 10. And then we will extract all here. And that's okay. Path is too long. Look, I just don't know why these file names are so crazy. So I'll just change this name here and say React Complete Guide. Okay, and then we will now extract 10 again because it did give me an error. Show extracted files when complete. Okay, great, so that's extracting. And yeah, then we'll continue. So, oh no, it's still telling me that the file name is too long. Okay, so what shall I... Okay, so there we go. It seems like it's okay. So 10. Okay, and I'm going to just rename this to 10. And then go in here, and it looks like we've got our code and all of our code in here. So that's great. So I'm going to cut this folder 10, cut, and then paste it back into my Git repository so it can be tracked. So I don't need to like create a new repository or anything. So that's in YouTube. Max project files. Oh no, no, it's not. Is it in sites? Yeah, it's in sites. Sorry. So in documents, sites, and then we have chapter 6 styling. So I'm going to just rename this to Max Code because that is not correct. I'll close this down because that's why it's not letting me rename it. Okay, whatever. And then we'll just paste in our chapter 10 in here. So paste. There we go. I'll rename this so it's similar format. So chapter 10, there we go. And then we should be able to open this in our Visual Studio Code and start working on some new code. So that's very, very exciting. So here we go. So file, we don't need to do that because it's just all here. So I'll just close down chapter 8. Oh, file, open folder, 10. Okay, so let's just open chapter 10 and open up our terminal and let's see what he has to say. So first of all, I presume we definitely have to run our npm install. So I'll just go into the folder that has the code. So it's into code and then it's into O1 because he starts them off like that. And then we'll do an npm install in order to install all the packages that we need that are listed in the package.json. And the reason that they don't just include this folder of node modules is because it unnecessarily bloats the project and there's just no need to save all that when you can just run an npm install and all of your packages will be installed from the package.json. So that's why that's not already done. And then once this is installed, we can then run npm start and start looking at our project and start something new. So that's what we're going to do. So I just went and made a coffee while that was going. So now we have installed our packages here. So that just finished. It was loading and it just finished. And it's telling us that it's found 24 vulnerabilities. 8 moderate, 15 high and 1 critical. And it tells you what to do to fix it. So you can just run npm autofix and it'll fix these issues. Or try to at least audit. Because it doesn't always fix all of them. But yeah, it'll make it better. So we just do what it's telling us to do. I'm hungover today, so went out for dinner and drinks last night, so should be drinking like water. I know I just need to drink water, but coffee, I love coffee. So just having a coffee, yeah. Hence not starting this until 2 o'clock because I just sat in bed for ages. So yeah, it was great. Okay, so now we're going to do npm install. And here we go. Oh no, shoot, bop, 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 bop. Should have been npm start. So I'll just cancel that. and do npm start instead. That's what I meant to run, and now our project should fire up for us. And actually I'll delete my other terminal. So we'll just cd into our, what's going on, I deleted the wrong until I admitted I was hungover, I was totally had it together. So we'll just do dir and see what's in this folder, and then we'll cd into code because I accidentally closed the wrong terminal. So dir, and then into our 01 folder, and then dir again, and then we are going to run our project now. So we can see here now we have our node modules folder, and that's been created as a result of running npm install. So we have all the packages we need, and now we can do npm start to fire this baby up. So let's go and see what happens. Well, it's just going to start, hopefully. That's all that's going to happen. So starting down here, great. Perfect. Yeah, so this is what I'm looking at in Max's video here. So I'm going to listen to what it is he wants us to do and get going. So bear with me while I just catch up on, like, find out what's coming next, and then I will explain it to you guys. I get like numbness in my leg and butt, I guess, like buttocks, on the left side of my body now when I sit down, because I think I sit down just too long. So if anyone has any tips, maybe I should go to the doctor. It's fine. It just feels like there's a nerve being pinched. I just need to continue to go and do some yoga or something, because you got to look after your body, especially if you're going to sit down all day long. So yeah, I'm actually going to just like run around now later on and stretch it out. So so I'm just watching this video. Awesome. Okay. Okay. So what's going on here now is, if once we log in, we are managing this login with useState at the moment. So if we come to our app.js in our code one, and then we go down to source app.js, we can see we have this useState being tracked, and it's tracking is logged in or is not logged in. So once we log in, that variable gets changed, it gets set. Excuse me, the variable gets set, and then so see on login, once we click this login button, we run the login handler, and the login just sets this is logged in variable by using the set is logged in, which is setting that particular thing, and it just sets it to true to say yes, we are logged in. But the way useState works is it keeps the state for the duration of the page being there. So if we reload, it doesn't actually remember this. We need to do it again, and then it will log us in again. But this isn't the behavior we want. We want it to remember that we're logged in all the time. So therefore, let's implement this in a better way. Sorry guys. Why does... my leg is so... No. Okay, so here we're going to have local storage instead, and this is going to store it in the local storage in the browser. So it will actually retain this information now, which is the behavior that we want. So we do local storage.setItem, and then we can just pass in the is logged in, and we will pass 1, the number 1, which is just true or false. Booleans are a variable that just holds either a true or false value. God damn. Which just holds either a true or false value, and yes, 1 is true, 0 is false. That's just how Booleans are. So just to give you a bit of a rundown, overview on what's going on there. Okay, so yeah, so that's all that the Boolean is, and then okay, so now if we log in again, and then we can go to the application tab and see this. Oh, didn't mean to do that anyway. So okay, so I'll just type in, yeah, my actual email will be a good one. So, and then the password, come on. So it's not letting me type for some reason. Let's just go with a new email. What is going on? Okay, is my keyboard disconnected now? Let's make sure. No. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Don't know why that happened. So here we will just do, which this isn't my email, guys. I have my email in the description box down below. I don't know why I used this one, but yeah, my email is in the description box down below. If anybody wants to email me, feel free and request a video or whatever it is that you would like to say hello. So super. And then so here, if we go to our application tab in our developer console and then go to the local storage, there we go. We have our is logged in, being saved, and the value of 1. So yes is the answer. And now I just presume we need to do something with this. Yeah, so we just need to use this then and say, okay, well, if 1, remain logged in. So that's what we're going to do now in a minute. But we can see now we have that stored, and see that hasn't gone away on the page reload, it's still there. So we can use this local storage variable in order to save the state of being logged in. Yeah, so now we just need to check for this. So now we can create a constant, give it something, a name. So I'll say stored user is logged in is equal to this, and then we can use this variable in order to check if we are indeed logged in. So we'll say if this equals 1, Then we're logged in, so then we want to set is logged in to true. So now this should remain, now we should remain logged in. So if we do that again and pick an email and type in a password and then click login, we're logged in now. And now if we reload the page, oh, but let's just keep having a look for the moment. We need to do something else. Okay, so he said first of all we need to do this after use state, but then he also said that if we do it this way we create an infinite loop. So we definitely don't want that. Infinite loops are not good. Just means your code is going to keep on looping and it won't complete, so we don't want that. So let's just see what his actual approach is going to be to fix this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what we want to do instead is use effect, and this is the correct way to do this. So down here we'll just say use effect and we'll have to import this. Let's just leave it like that for the moment. It's after giving us the template for that, so let's just leave that like that. So here we can say use effect. Oh, cool. Okay, so there we go, use effect, and then we will implement this. So the first argument is a function. Then you give it an array of dependencies. And then in here, this is where we add the code. So I'm going to just get rid of what's in here, right? And instead we paste in this code. So we can just move this, move this in to this use effect area. And then, which this again is new to me, so great. I love learning about all this stuff. Excuse me. Okay, so now if we reload, yes, we got rid of input. So now if we reload and we log in, we should see, so this is my email that you can reach me at if you want to say hello, and then we'll just type in a password and log in. And now if we reload, okay, so that didn't work. Let's just keep watching and see what Max has done. Okay, so let me just make sure exactly what Max is doing here. So we have our app, we have our use state, then we have our use effect, which takes a function and an array. So in here we have our const store user is logged in. He's called that something different, it's even longer, so I just shortened the name. And then local storage.get item is logged in, and if this is equal to 1, then we want to set is logged in to true. So that's all looking good. And then what else is he doing? Yeah. Yeah, that's how I did it. Okay, so let's just keep watching. So then he has the login handler, which that's what his login handler is doing, and then logout handler. So okay. So I'm just watching the video to try and see if I'm missing something. Okay. Yeah, so we also just want to make sure then when we log out that we will remove that. I mean, look, we'll figure out what's going on now in a moment. I'm going to just continue for a minute. So then we want to, when we log out, do, sorry, excuse me, do local storage, remove item instead of get it. So we just want to remove it. So okay, and okay, so we're on to the next video, and it is not loading. Okay. So he's just talking through the login component here. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to use effect in the login component as well, right? So we just import it the same way that we did before. Use effect. Effect like that. And then down here we can use it. So yeah, down here. And we'll just say use effect And now I'll, sure, look, I won't even take that. So useEffect, and then we just open up our parentheses, and we have an unnamed function first of all. So we will get that going, and then we also just do a comma and pass it an array of dependencies. So that's how useEffect is laid out, and then we come in here and add what we want to happen on this useEffect. So we're going to put the set form is valid in there. So set form is valid, yeah. Yeah, so he just moved this in here, and then we just changed the event.target.value because we don't have the event anymore because we were passing the event through from a change handler. So instead we'll do if the entered email okay. So now we can remove this set form is valid from this second area as well on the password change handler. So we'll just remove that and save. Okay, and then if we type in information in here and a password, the login button never gets highlighted because this useEffect only runs once when we first boot up the component, so it's not allowing that login button to be clickable. So let's see what the solution is. I have a ring stuck on my finger. Ow. Okay, got it off. My fingers are getting fatter. It's just warm. So just listening to what he's saying here. So we have entered email and entered password, yep.